Welcome to the podcast. Today we are doing a with friends episode. And I am so excited. I'm literally grinning ear to ear as I get to introduce you to my friend Mickela. She's the founder of Glaciers to Grapevines. Mickela, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Excited to be
It's
here.
so glad to have you. So before we jump into it, Mickela is going to give us some juicy tips about all she does. She creates these incredible travel abroad trips for women. But before we go, Mickela, I just want to create a little bit of space to just honor you, to recognize you, and to just have so much gratitude. Mickela and I, we met in our mastermind earlier this year. And what started out as just sending a couple little notes of encouragement here or there, or a couple little of, hey, I see you're walking through this. I'm walking through it too. Or I just walked through that last week. And the way that her friendship has completely she just pours into my life. And every interaction I have with her is just she holds such big visions. And that's one of her superpowers. I know that she uses that for her clients too, like the ability to hold such a big vision, and just that encouragement. And so I so appreciate you, everything that you do, and the way that you just exude joy, and an excitement and a lust for life. And I love that. So thank you just for being you.
Thank you.
You're so welcome. Okay, so tell us today, before we get into the things that we are unjuggling and the thing that you have unjuggled, tell us a little bit about who the heck are we actually talking to? Tell us about your story, girl.
Yes. Okay. So my name is Mickela. I'm from Alaska. Alaska is home, 30 some years home. And I now live in Italy. I live in northern Italy. We've been here for 4 years and we're going to be here for several more. And so I've created a space for women, come from a very corporate background like Brittney. And so knowing that we are over here, telework, finding jobs is very challenging. And it kind of was just put on my heart as we've had many friends come visit us, family come visit us, and observing the change that happens in them when they come to Italy, they come travel abroad, almost like eat, love, pray under the Tuscan sun. Like there's something that happens to a woman, to a person when they leave the culture they're used to, their schedule, the noise, the everything, right? The food, and they step into something different. And so that's where Glaciers to Grapevines was born from, as well as I'm just somebody who's been in Alaska her whole life and has dreamed of being on this side of the pond. And then I'm finally here. I've become the travel planner for the family, the girls' trips here. And then that's where this has slowly evolved into something that has been really beautiful, that oh, I have a natural knack for this. I love this attention to detail, all things. So I've now hosted multiple retreats. And so it's such a, it is so powerful to be there, be involved in one of those things. But that's where my heart is at, is to create those experiences for women where they're safe, they're places I have been to, they're experiences I've experienced. There's, I always joke, Morocco's coming up, but I always joke Morocco, we did a 9-day trip there and it's now a 5-6 day trip, but there's places because we went there, I'm not taking people back there, right? So I think that's the thing, is making sure that women who are feeling nervous, uncomfortable, it's very overwhelming if they've never left the country or never traveled internationally. It's very different than domestic travel, and giving them that confidence in that space of I'm here for you, I've got you, I've been to almost 30 countries now, right? I've navigated by myself, gone back and forth, flown with the kids, without everything. And because I believe how life-changing it can be for somebody when they do that. So that's Glaciers to Grapevines in a nutshell, is that I am passionate about planning these trips. And now I'm starting to help other people curate and put together their own trips if they feel overwhelmed where to start and stuff. So anyhow, that's the gist. I want people to travel. That's the goal. So
You just want them to travel. And what about a little bit
Yes.
about you personally?
About me personally, like I said, Alaska's home, very corporate background, BA in finance, MBA, oil and gas for a decade, finance, insurance, business owner, right? Used to go up to the North Slope and be in the oil fields and then be down in the corporate office. So very, very diverse. My husband's in the Air Force, so also military wife. And then I have a little lady, And then I also, I'm a bonus mom for my son. So navigate family dynamics with that. I don't know what else. I was like, I have an Australian
That's
Shepherd from Ohio, Jack. Everybody loves Jack.
that's a lot. That's a lot. And I think that paints just this beautiful picture about all of the things that you juggle, right? Just like so many of us. I mean, all of the hats that we wear. And so,
Yes.
yeah, okay. And so today, like, I mean, actually, I'm just going to ask. Okay, having this question come through. How do you juggle it all? Because that is a lot. That's a lot of hats. How do you do this? How do you run a business, military wife, bonus mom? Like, how do you do it?
Well, I think God gives me strength and grace every day. But I do believe, as you and I have joined this mastermind, and our phenomenal coach has basically, Danelle has implemented, right? Every day we start our day with gratitude. So this routine that's been basically the last 3 months, right? Of you start your day with gratitude, you make sure you're learning something new, you're sweating every day. You're very careful who you're surrounding yourself with, right? I'm missing one of them. What am I missing? But like, I
Oh,
think, yes, and goals. You have your goals every day. Hopefully Danelle doesn't watch. It's like I got an F. But I think like starting your day is such a power. Starting your day the best way you can, no matter what is going on, I believe sets the stage for the rest of your day. I also live and die with like my cell phone and my calendar to like stay
mm,
organized, keep a track of things. But then I also have gone through seasons, as we all have, where you overcommit and you say yes to everything. And I think there becomes a point where like, oh, my cup is no longer full. I'm run down. I'm not like I'm tired. And so I think being organized, but there's again, the first thing that comes to my mind is starting your day right and creating that space and time to take care of you as a woman, a mom, a person. Because if you don't, those I think 30 minutes a day is like 2% of your day. So when you talk about working out, you talk about journaling, even sitting down and reading a book, drinking your coffee slowly, making that space for you, I think speaks so loudly to how your body feels, your mind, like you value yourself first. And obviously there's days like that doesn't happen every day, right? Like I've had, some like rough days being sick lately where it's like I needed the extra sleep, and like the gratitude did not happen first thing, but it happened later in the day. So I think that would be like what I would say is that, and then being organized, and then asking for help.
mm.
A newer concept being over here, being in Italy, which is like
Oh,
a whole other like podcast. But I feel like when you're in the States, we take pride, or there's this pressure that like we have to be superwoman, and like we have to always look great, dress great. Our kids have to be in all the activities. We have to have the best looking this. Our house, like there's all this like pressure, right? And so and in that, because I still remember walking like 8 months, 9 months pregnant, like walking through the Costco parking lot. It's the middle of winter, right? Because Aston's born in March, and pushing the shopping cart, and they just had graveled, and I'm in high heels, right? Because I was at work, and there are no pregnancy parking spots. So like it's just like one of those things. And instead of like asking a man or somebody just to like help me push my groceries, it's just things like that where it's like, why are we so or you get sick and you just have the groceries delivered at your house versus like texting a girlfriend and asking for help, right? So
yeah.
as I've been struggling here, I think like that's been something as had to navigate this over here is like Italy does not have you don't have DoorDash, at least where I live in Italy, right? There may be like Rome or some bigger cities, right? The conveniences aren't there. And so it's like either you can, and anyhow, you can ask for help or you end up just kind of struggling. And so I think
Mhm.
that's been something new to where it's like I'm not failing if I'm asking for help. I'm not failing if I need to tell my husband I need a couple days away, right? Like these are all normals. Like this is me advocating for me, for my family, whatever that may look like. And that looks very different over here. And that's had to push me into an area of like, it's okay to ask for help. It's okay not to have it all together. So yeah. It's
Or
like,
even too, like what you just said, like the fact that we feel like we don't have it all together just because we are asking for help. Like, that's not like asking for help is not an indication that we don't have it all together or that we can't do everything. Like, asking for help is a beautiful opportunity for someone else to serve.
Yes.
I remember just recently, I was, oh my goodness, I was sicker than a dog, and it's like raining, and my husband's on shift. Still have to go pick up the kids. Like, it's just so I could barely get out of bed. Like, I was in a bathtub for 3 days, is what it felt like. And I had a neighbor who was checking in on me, and she's like, "How you doing?" And it was like, "Not so good." And I didn't even ask, which was the most beautiful thing. I didn't even ask. A couple hours later, I get a text message. She's like, chicken noodle soup is on the front step. And
Oh.
and yeah, to open up the door and to just literally pop that chicken noodle soup in the microwave. And the way that I'm sitting there and I'm like trying to fuel my body because it ain't got nothing left, just sipping on this chicken noodle soup, and how it was like, man, she saw an opportunity where she could serve, where she could give, where she could like connect deeply. And I think as humans, and I think especially as women, we want that. We need that. We need
Yeah.
more of that kind of connection in our lives. And dang it, if we're just too stubborn to ask, like, man, people, I hope that more people just show up for us if until we
Yeah.
learn, to your point, until we learn, oh crap, I can't DoorDash. I'm going to have to ask for some help. And then the beautiful like exchange of connection and service, like yeah, service that happens there. I love that.
Yeah. No,
Oh,
it allows somebody to be a blessing, right? And that's the thing
it
is
does.
you never know. And then you don't know what's going on with them. And for them to do that, right? It fills their cup just as much as our cup, right? Like I said, a
Yes.
beautiful exchange. You said it perfectly.
Yeah. It's so good. I'm thinking of so this beautiful exchange of when it comes to your business, because where
Mhm.
your business has scaled over the last 6 months, over the last year, um, who what has been like the biggest blessing or the biggest engine fuel that has come into your business? What's made the difference for you?
I think it's the people you surround yourself with, the room you're in. So I think the biggest difference, as we've spoken about now a couple times, right, is being in the mastermind together. And as much as you've been a blessing, like I've been a blessing to you, you've been a blessing to me, right? But then there's other very amazing women role models in that group that have just they have encouraged as I step back and I watch them and what they're going for and what they're doing and what their mission is, right? What their thing they're working on, watching them go and achieve it, I think is it's like,
Mm,
oh, I can do this too, right? It's the girlfriend who's like, I'm going to train for a half marathon. Oh, she did it. I can do it too. So I think being in that room with like-minded people who believe in each other, call each other's like BS out, like that, I think has made the biggest difference because being over here, right? Like Italy is an incredible place to live. There's so many benefits, but from an entrepreneur like standpoint, I miss being able to go into what was it called, like the Eagle River, Alaska business women, like the monthly luncheons and meet people and like, like kind of get that shoulder rub where you're learning from each other, doing different things. And so I think that has been the biggest push to help
yeah.
me scale, grow. What systems are they using or connections they have? Because it's incredible when they get to that level, the connections they have and two or three of them right now I'm partnering with and we're doing trips together because they have incredible gifts that I want my women to be blessed with because even though I put these trips on, this is not, I very much believe like this is not the Mickela show, and it is better to have like a co-host and somebody else there too because you have different strengths, and so that greatly impacts the cohesion with the group, blessing other people, for Tuscany last year, for example, right? One of the ladies came in and she had a UTI. So like when you have, so one of us like go take care of that, so it's like the group can still, because a group trip is like a wedding. Like you can plan and have things as perfect, but like there's going to be a surprise, right? That happens. And but that's traveling, right? I've got plenty of those stories. There's traveling stuff that happens. And then that's where you really learn yourself and, or opportunities for yourself with, how do we manage that? So yes.
So yeah, the people. So really, I'm with you on that. Just the things that all of a sudden you become possible for you because you're seeing it unfold and happen right in front of your eyes. And I really do think like where I see, for instance, like my clients get stuck is that we're constantly only dreaming or holding visions up to the level of what we have been exposed to. And so
Mhm.
if all you've ever been exposed to is, I don't know, Aunt Susan's level of wealth, then that even was a distant relative. And even then maybe she wasn't very nice. I don't know.
Right.
Then that's like you create these perceptions and you build your entire life's vision based off of, well, if that was possible for her, and she was not nice, but I'm nice, maybe I'll have like a lower level of, I don't
Yeah,
know. Right. Right.
exactly.
Yeah, so I mean just expanding what is possible because you're actually seeing people who you know, not just, the Instagram influencers, you're
Right.
actually seeing people who you know who are doing it and who are building it real time. I agree. What has been something in your scaling journey? What's been the biggest thing that you've had to like overcome?
I think it's so like when I started, this was for fun. This was like the local, some local spouses that lived here, or it's my family coming in, or we have people coming. Like it's small and intimate and not professional, like not third party, right? So if something doesn't go right, so I think going from that to then doing like the first official retreat and co-hosting, right? Like that became, oh, okay, now we're juggling one, and then the amount of work and stuff that goes into that. And then now where I'm at is I have 3 trips I'm hosting in the fall, right? In Greece, Italy, and Morocco. And on top of that, I now am helping 2 others
Yeah.
as they are doing their own trips. And I'm basically advising, assisting, showing up and helping. And so I think it's like going from like, oh, this is fun. I really enjoy this. This is, and planning parties, all the things like those things come naturally and I love it. It's the attention to detail. And then it's like, oh, well, can I maybe like substitute the vacation fund a little bit? Okay, like maybe, okay, so it's like, oh, can this turn? Oh, is there a need for this? Right. So it's been like those pauses and those things along the journey with, yeah, going from for fun and then
This is
okay, like
fun.
maybe we could do this, and then like, oh, well, what if I like really did this, and this, like the high that I got after the trip, the filling the cup, like what a dreamy job position to create where I'm serving and blessing other women, creating a safe space for them, and then for them to leave completely changed, right? Like their lives are completely changed after international traveling, meeting other women in the group, people so into them. Like it is just such a beautiful, it's just like there's no words for it, right? It's like
Mhm.
if I had all the money in the world, like I would pay to have all my friends, everybody just like come, like do this. And
Experience it.
yeah, and the kids, right? Like also I want to do like a mother-daughter trip because there's and this is the biggest compliment on top of having people come back and travel with me again, is women who have never left the US and traveled internationally. And like now they're in their 30s, their 40s, 50s, right? And they're flying across the world and coming in like trusting me. It's like, okay, I've got you. This is awesome. But the courage that she walks away with from that, like it changes her whole life, right? All of a sudden, the world is no longer a big, gigantic, scary 18-hour flight away. Like this is, oh, I did that. Like maybe I'm going to upgrade to premium class this time and not be an economy, but like I did that and they were nice and nothing, you know what I mean? Like it's the food was amazing. I lost weight. I
Yeah.
right, like it's all the things, right? I made friends and I don't know. So those things, right? Those light me up.
And that's what fueled turning like the fun and the hobby into an actual business is like
Yes.
you saw, and I love how you said it, you saw the need. Like when you
Mhm.
see that there's a need, I think that is a gift to be able to go, hey, wait a second. I have gifts that serve and that fill a need, and then just to allow yourself to go there with wonderment. like a
Right.
posture of curiosity of like, I wonder if I could do this for other people. I am doing this for other people. Oh my gosh, I wonder if I could charge. I wonder if I could actually launch a business. And then here you are. And it's not like I was going to say, boom, there's a
No.
business, because I know it was not boom. It's not boom. Like you've worked hard for this. And just to start seeing it, it feels like the snowball, right?
Yes.
Like at first it's you're sitting there and you're packing and you're trying to get it to to take shape, and then it starts to take shape and you start to roll it, little piece falls off, but some gets back, and then before you know it, it's like now it is barreling down and it's really catching momentum, and it's so fun to watch. Like it's just so fun to be alongside you and watch you build it. It really is.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's cool. What do you think? So for women who are, because you mentioned like it really lights you up when their perspective changes. So what do you think gets in the way of women taking the trip? I'm curious, like maybe what are you have 3 to 5 things that like get in the way, and debunk them.
I think fear, like number one, I think people have many people, right? I think at this point have flown domestic flights and maybe something happened, maybe, but I think people get fear in their head of, well, what if I get stuck in Paris and I don't make it to Italy? Or what if my bags don't make it? Or what if like my legs, like I feel like there's this, or who's going to be next to me on the airplane? Or I don't know. I think there's this fear because it's an unknown experience, right? Just like a
Mhm.
first date, right? Like I don't know, like I was like, how else do you like correlate? Because I don't want to give it more energy, but it's almost like these butterflies of like, oh, can I do it? What am I gonna pack? Like, or I get on the other end and then how do I find my hotel? And it's just kind of like this. I think it starts to grow. And so I think catching that of like, wow, people get on the planes all the time. As you know, there's worldly events going on right now. And I sometimes hear that from people of because of worldly events, they won't go. Or basically, where some of the worldly events are going on now, that kicked off like a month before my Morocco trip in March. And so the 11, 12 women that came to Morocco, there was some concerns like, hey, is things okay? It's like totally
Mm.
different country, totally different. Like we are in had an amazing, incredible time. In fact, I've got one place she wants to do Morocco again this fall. So I think we start with fear. I hear a lot of people with like money when they
Mm.
reach out, and I always that at times I can feel like can always be such a sensitive topic.
It
However,
is.
when
Can be.
when it's I then like there's encouragement with like redirecting priorities, right? Like if traveling and giving you and feeding your wanderlust spirit and you really going on an adventure and doing something that's life-changing for you, like what are those Starbucks coffees costing you? Because when I came back to the States, they were like $8 for a Starbucks coffee, right? Or how much are you eating? Right. So I think there's times where it's like people will spend the money on
Yeah.
conveniences and things like that, but like things that they will never forget, right? That will change them. So I think like that is, and again, but there's also, again, that's a mindset thing too with money and having as you and I have done a lot of growing the last couple months, a scarcity mindset versus an abundance mindset, right? That is something I've had
Yeah.
to grow immensely in, going from a corporate, very secured paycheck to like, okay, like, are we going to make the deposit? Are we going to like, so I think money and then, so
On the
fear.
money on the money thing,
Mhm.
I was doing some research for this webinar that I'm hosting, and it was I like had to dig in deep because I was so shocked. The average American adult spends $1,400, like 1497 a month on non-essential items. So whether that is like the spa and wellness treatments. Now I know that could be argued if
Yeah.
that is
Nails,
essential.
waxing,
Um,
hair.
Coffee, dining out, entertainment, like hitting, all these concerts that go around. So non-essential items, the average American adult, $1,400 per person a
That's a lot
month.
of money. That's a lot of money.
That's insane. That's insane. So then when we sit here and part of that is like when we sit here and I love the way that you mentioned it's priorities. You sit there and you say, okay, what is the priority? we sit here often, and I know we hear lots of folks talk about wanting to change their life,
Mhm.
wanting to expand their horizons, wanting to have like this experience of a lifetime. And then, like, we'll sit and it'll be, oh, but I can't make the money work. It's the prioritization. You're right.
Mhm.
And because when we get really honest, and I know to your point, it has taken us both a lot of work to get to the point where we can get really honest with our finances and where what needs to be prioritized. But when you go, man, heck, even $500 a month put in the right place that's
Yep.
going to propel your life forward, that pays a dividend you can't even that no coffee will touch.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah. So, yeah, interesting.
It'll it'll change. And then you never know the other women that come on the trip. Like that's kind of the roll of the dice. But all the trips, it's like the right women show up, the connections they make, the
Mm,
friendships they leave with. So that would tie right into number three. Like, what's the biggest objection? Well, I don't know anybody. I'm coming alone. And I would say like that is one of my favorite things at the end of the trip is watching the friendships that arise out of there because of the combined experience. It's amazing because you think about how the connection you have when you have a dinner with your best friend or a coffee date with your best friend, right? Like you leave on a high, but when you spend 4 days, 6 days, 8 days around like minded women who are all like, yes, said yes to themselves, to an adventure, something new. Like it is beautiful. The friendships that come out of there, again, people have, it just like, it is, that is like my favorite part. So even though again, it's one of the, I think, reservations people are nervous and squirmy about is they don't have a friend to come with. That's the one I
mm,
was like, hey, like that's not even one I would even worry about because the right women always come. And like
yeah.
I don't host party trips. I don't host, right? Like these are curated luxury like experiences where things are taken care of and that attracts a certain type of person and everybody gets along. It's very impressive because when you have that many women together, like 16 women, like it can be a little like uncomfortable or and even for me it's always been easier to make like friends with guys. I feel like guys at times are just simpler and then women we can be a little complex, especially during certain times of the month. So it's always has worked out and has been just a beautiful thing
Mm,
with that. So that's like I think those would be the top three things: the fear, the money, and then coming by themselves if they don't have anybody, right? So
yeah.
yeah.
Well, and the coming by themselves, solo travel, even solo experiences. I mean, going out to dinner by yourself
Oh, it
is
is.
something that folks we
Yep.
just don't do. It's very uncomfortable. It's not something that we choose. Much less, yeah, to travel halfway across the world by yourself. But you had your own solo travel experience, and I think that that's what makes. I mean, it absolutely. Will you share about your solo experience?
Yeah, that was last year actually. As I wish it was like longer than that, but it didn't hit me. So the September trip, the Northern Italy trip, is basically I'm taking women back to where I went for my solo trip because it was so life changing for me. But basically, last summer kind of hit a point where it was like, okay, been with the kids. I need a little break. I feel like I've got a lot of spaghetti going on upstairs, and I just need to journal and or just read a book, right? And there needs to be some silence or some extra sleep. Those feelings. And yeah, I realized on the drive there because it's about 3 hours from my house that like, oh my gosh, this is the first time I have left and there's not like a wedding I'm going to on the other end or a graduation or I'm meeting my girlfriend. We're meeting in the middle for a trip. Like I am actually leaving by myself and going to beautiful organic alpine spa hotel for 4 nights by myself. And like it didn't sink in until I was on the trip. I was like, here I am like a mid 30, 40, 30-year-old woman. Oh my gosh. And I was like, how have I never like not done this for myself? Right. And I think there's this so then actually in that same moment as you were just talking about meals out, I was in Finland. I was in Finland 2 years ago It was the first time, because my husband was in a conference, the first time I ever sat at lunch by myself and had my own lunch, because like I had to go out. The hotel had breakfast. And so like I found a spa, so I had lunch before. But I remember sitting there and being like, okay, like I had a game plan in my head. I'm not going to be on my phone. I'm good, because it's when
Yep.
you're over here. That's one of the other reasons I love to bring women over here. You do not see people walking around on their cell phones. You don't see at the restaurant. Like I was at a restaurant with my girlfriend 2 days ago for lunch and like looked around. None of the Italians in the entire restaurant are on their phones. Like it is like everybody is present. Everybody is focused. Everybody's like putting down the screen time, right? And like you're getting back to human connection. And so on that trip, yes, that was like, okay, then I kind of made a deal with myself, right? For dinner, when I go down breakfast, lunch, and dinner, so 3 meals a day, huge jump, huge jump. I'm sitting there and like, okay, you can journal, you can do this, you can take pretty pictures of the food, because the food was just beautiful. Like it was organic food. It was just beautiful, right? And so I was like, wow, this is more women need this. And I think there are some that will go and do it, but usually like they're further along. And like I want to again take somebody who knows she needs a change, she needs a shakeup. Everything's falling like falling down around her, and she knows that she just needs to get on a plane and get out, right? Like, and have her on the other end of it. So, yeah. So I highly, highly recommend doing a solo trip. You learn so much about yourself, but I feel a lot of people avoid it because they don't want to just sit with themselves, right? Or figure out like, are other people looking at me because I'm the only one, right? And then here I am at this great, beautiful hotel in the Dolomites, and there's families there, they're coupled up, and I'm in my corner, and I was like, hey, so I always walk down with my journal or my book, and I was like, okay, I've got this, and very, very uncomfortable, right? It's like I can do this.
No, it's still no, I still think about sometimes I think that gets lost on me, like when I was in corporate and traveled so much, having to sit and have a meal by yourself, even with how many times um it's still there is a I'm trying to put words to it. There is something about sitting with yourself,
Yeah.
whether it is in a place in public, whether it is in the comfort of your own home. Like there is something about sitting in silence with yourself to just give yourself the space to be. And I think so often, right, the noise around us is so loud and everything's buzzing. And while it can be really exciting that everything is always buzzing and moving and yeah, this is amazing, there's also I think there's a special place like in our souls that just require us to sit for a moment. And I think that that's what, if I'm hearing you right, that's really what you believe that travel can do for and does do like for that woman.
Oh, absolutely. Like
Yeah.
there's so many different things, right? But it expands her experiences, the people. You're observing different cultures, how they do things. So I tell people in our little Italian town that I can walk to a cafe. It's like a 4-minute little walk, but they do not do to-go cups. Like you're expected to stand at the bar and drink the coffee, or take your coffee and go sit at a table. Like you're expected to sit there and have a conversation, or just be present, right? But there's and I think in a 15-30 minute radius, there's 2 fast food places. Like it's just completely. And so those things, I think it's so important for people to get out of their comfort zone, what they're used to, the people they're used to, see how different things are done, navigate public transport, like whatever it is, right? But the food, right? And expanding what you're used to. And I think kind of, again, looking around and observing, not that, America's got its own perks and stuff, but how other places do things, right? The school schedule. My little lady starts the primary school next year, and they're done at 1:00. Like they go for a couple hours, they're done at 1:00. Just very different system. There's some that will go longer, but It's interesting. And they do old school math, like how you and I grew up doing math, right? So just things like that, where it's like, okay, this is, it just kind of makes you wonder. And I think pulling women out of their everyday routine, and even if they go do a retreat, but they go a couple towns over or a couple states over, the phone is still going off. People can still
Mm.
reach you. Emergencies can still contact you. But when you're on the other side and there's an 8-hour, 11-hour time zone difference, the
Yeah.
world has to go on and kind of function without you. And so that's where you have to just kind of like, they have to figure it out, but it really like forces you to like be present in all of that, right? So yeah.
Yeah, it does. What when you were talking, I was it it's the sorry, my son just came in, right? Lost my train of thought for a moment, but it was going back to kind of what we were talking about with the mentorship. What it's
Right.
doing is you're expanding what you have experienced and what you're exposed to, and the way that that creates a ripple effect in your life.
Right. And
Yeah.
somebody else's life, because just like you
Mm.
training for a half marathon or you learning how to make sourdough bread, oh, she can do it. She doesn't burn, like, oh, she got on a plane, she went somewhere,
Yeah.
she had a good time. Nobody like nothing, awful happened. Like, oh, and she's planning another trip. Like that is motivating and it's contagious. So like you never
Yeah.
know who you are impacting, or if you're an auntie and you have little nieces, or you're even, a grandparent age, right? Like grandma's traveling. What? She's going where? Right? It opens up the like when you started talking about aunt, I wasn't Aunt Patty. I was like, whatever aunt you used, right? Like
Yeah.
it's you're expanding the possibilities in your own. So as people are watching, like, oh, you're
Mhm.
doing this, you're doing that, right? Like, so that's where it's like that. It's for them, it's a ripple out effect. But then as it goes through the community,
Yeah.
you're inspiring other people and not making it like you take the fear away from them.
You do, because you went
Gift.
first and you did it. It's a gift. Oh,
Yeah.
so good. So good. If you're listening to this podcast right now and you take away anything, I would say I hope that you hear that like travel is it's not it well, sure there are pieces maybe that are selfish, but when you make that choice, when you prioritize that, when you push the fear aside, when you prioritize it financially, and when you embrace the gift of being solo, when you do something like that, the ripple effect that it creates far beyond just your life and the
Yeah.
possibilities that you expand for other people. Like that's why you should book the trip, right? Book the trip, book the trip.
Go travel,
I
start somewhere, right? You just have to, yeah.
So good. Yep. So good. All right. So tell people where they can get in touch with you. And you've got, like you've mentioned, you've got 3 trips coming up. So tell us like where people can get involved, how to connect, everything.
So yeah, so to find me, it's Glaciers to Grapevines. So Glaciers from Alaska, Grapevines is Italy. So Glaciers to Grapevines is on Facebook, on TikTok. On Facebook, Mickela LC is the personal page with all the details as well. And then Instagram is Journeys with Mickela. So all social media depend on like what your pleasure is, but the website's always easy. That's an easy contact form. And obviously Brittney knows how to get a hold of me. So if this is
Yep.
so
Yep. I'll
she,
put
she
all of
can
it in
find
the
me.
show notes. Yeah, all of it in the show notes. And your trips. Tell us a little bit about the trips that you've got coming on and who they're for.
Okay, so end of August, we got Greece. So that's 4 days, 5 nights in beautiful, beautiful, beautiful Mykonos, Greece. So all my trips, everything is curated, done for you. You just have to get the airline ticket, or I can help you get that as well. So that is going to be like a relaxing. We do a half-day sunset cruise, a cooking class, ceramic class, private tour, all transportation, all the food, everything. That is just going to be a beautiful, and the villa we're in is absolutely stunning. Pool, it's just right by the beach. So Greece, I feel like Greece is incredible. We have a Pilates teacher coming too. I do have some ladies who are traveling who have never done Pilates. So for some people, that's like a big perk. For other people, they're like, oh no, are you going to make me get out of bed? I was like, no, right. So like that one, we have a Pilates. So that's that end of September. So fall, we are going back to where I shared my solo trip was last year. And I've got Jenny Potter coming all the way from Canada. So she's going for that's going to be an amazing trip. So her specialty is helping women who are stuck, emotionally stuck, releasing blocks. She's been just life-changing for me and so transformative. So she's coming. That we are staying in the Reel. You have to just go watch the Reel, but the Reel, we're staying in a like organic alpine hotel, basically in the Dolomites, so in Venice, about 2 hours away from Venice. And we've got massage, we've got spa time, we've got hikes. So guided hikes, they're 3 miles, so they're doable for anybody. We've got a wine tasting in there. I was like, there's a couple other things roped in there, but that's again, a 4-day, 5-day trip. And then my last one for this calendar year is in October is Morocco. So I've been to Morocco several times. This is one of my favorites because I like, for lack of a better word, I feel like it's like a perfect adventure trip. We start in Marrakesh, we have the market, we head over the Atlas Mountains, we end up in the desert, we do the camel ride, we, do dancing and bonfire under the stars, we go see a nomad family, we have a cooking class, ATV. We then are going to fly back to Marrakesh. We've got like belly dancing. Oh, hot air balloon ride, right? We have the sunrise hot air balloon ride. Like it is, I've done this trip several times now, and it is, the testimonials that came out of March were incredible. Just again, like I said, I have a lady who's like, she wants to come again in the fall, which would be awesome because she loved it so much. And it was so special. That, Morocco is very unique and very, very diverse. And so that trip again, so those are the trips I'm excited about. Next year, I can drip. We have Bali's on the docket. I go in July to go visit and check out to make sure. Cause that's one of the things with my trips is everywhere I take people, I will go ahead and make sure, like, again, is this where I stay there? I check it out. I make sure, because I'm going to ask women for money and to trust me. I want to make sure everything's okay on the other end. So we'll have Bali next year. We have an African safari next fall in Namibia, which is going to be amazing. There are talks of a castle in Scotland that I'm working on. And I just actually had a call 3 hours ago with somebody about co-hosting maybe a women's trip in Sweden, Northern Lights. And we just talked about that today. So there's some exciting things for next year. So again, Glaciers to Grapevines, there's a newsletter I'm working on just to kind of stay informed, but social media is the easiest. And again, all these trips are very small in size, no more, usually 12 to 20 women.
Okay.
But like Morocco's 12, Greece will be 15, Italy is 20, right? So it is very small, intimate, and curated, right? And then everybody that comes is either a repeat person who's traveling with me again, which is incredible, or right, somebody I've met, talked to, and then we do always a kickoff call, so everybody meets each other, help answer questions. So yes, I'm here. Or if they want help trip planning on either end of it, right? Like help them with that. So yeah.
Oh, so good. So good. Okay. Before we go into, there's three things I have left for you as we wrap up the show. But before we go into the standard 3 things, is there anything else on your heart that you want to share for the woman who's sitting there and she's been listening to this podcast and she knows, she's like, man, there's something inside me. I just want to do it. I just don't know. What would you tell her?
I would say just to do it. Just go. That's like a couple of the testimonials, right? Women are like, just go, just book it, just do it. There's, at times there's, we have to think about things. We have to make logistical, things. We've got kids, we've got parents, like everybody has, around life, everybody has things in their life they have to navigate and juggle to make time for themselves and space for themselves. Like And whether this is a solo person traveling, right? Like, and you have to ask for the vacation time at work, or you have to get coverage for your dog or your cat, right? Like, or your plants, I think it's just like, just do it. I think it just starts with like making the decision. Would be my first thing, right? And then it's like, okay, like I think after it's made, but I think that back and forth of like, well, should I not? Should I like, and then usually that's where I think the uncertainty or the fear, like that starts to creep in. And then the like funny but not funny thing, like for the Morocco, I had some ladies who were on the fence because of worldly events, which is like completely like, again, understand, but days before, do you have a room left? Like, I want to come now. And I'm like, so like the Riyadhs are all full. Like we book the entire ones we come to. I make sure it's just our group. Like we're safe, right? Like it's just so, I think that's it, right? Because I think there's been some really cute videos on Instagram lately. Like there's always tomorrow, or we're like, oh, there's always next year or this, but like one year happens to the next year happens to the next year. And so I think that would be the thing is like, just do it. Or, if you're on the fence, there's always a way to hop on like a 30-minute call with me and talk through it. And does this feel good? Does this feel, and whether it's with me or somebody else, my thing is I just want women to travel, to end up in a new environment, to try something new. Right. So, like, I hope it's with me, but if it's not with me, like, I hope they have the courage just to try and, or drive 2 towns over and stay a night and try something new and meet new people. Cause you never know who's going to come into your, like, the world is a very small place. Like once you start meeting people and traveling, it's wild. It's, again, and you take that risk, like you're always rewarded for it too. So
Always.
I would say that.
Always. I love it. All right, my friend. Okay. Then I have 3 more things for you. Okay.
Okay.
We are going to, I'm looking at, we're okay on time. All right. We're okay.
Okay. I know.
Right. The first thing, so I have part of my entrepreneurial journey. Actually, one of the whole reasons that I'm here today and have this podcast is, I talk a lot about quitting the things that are no longer serving us.
Okay.
So when I say that phrase, I'm curious what comes to mind. Quitting things no longer serving us.
So for me, on like my personal journey, I think boundaries and people you're around is like for me, that's what I would share. And I think that that correlates to any women in any journey. Like that would be, because if your group is like, doesn't serve you, then like that's okay. Thank you. Sorry. My little lady, she just came in now too. So I think that would be where I would start, because you are a culmination. Is that the right word? Like you are like not combination, but culmination of like the top 5 people you hang out with, right? So if your friends are always complaining that this isn't going right, or they're not happy about that, or they're like it bleeds over, and it's basically like toxic's a very strong word to use, but like, so that would be like, I would start there. And like, again, for me, that's something we've had to make some boundaries. Or for me, I want to show up at all the social things and be there for everything, or all the Italian things for my daughter, right? And I can't, like you said, juggle everything, right? But I'm like, okay, we can do this. Like graduation tomorrow night is pretty important, right? But do we need to go to the thing on the park on Sunday versus, like it's just kind of those, you have to slow down and build time in for downtime and to sit down for a minute. I think we go, and then our bodies get sick and crash, and they're like, oh, you're meant to slow down and take a break a little bit. Like this isn't the life that like God has designed for you, that we have designed for you, that you're to burn the candle at both ends and not take care. Like that's, people getting sick and, just some of those things, right, to be mindful of. So I'll wrap that up. I'll land the plane on that one.
Nope. I think it's so strong. Okay. And then I always have the last guest leave a question for you. So the last guest was Trish Galandra. She is the founder of True Wealth. She is absolutely incredible. That conversation, we talked all about money mindset, all about how a lot of our money stuff happens when we're young, and how to actually rewire that going forward and finding our wealth freedom number. It was a fantastic episode. She wants to know, okay, her question is, If you could have your dream life, like your dream day, what would it look like and how are you going to create it?
So I feel like I just had my dream day. I had a dear friend come stay with me. Like, just it'd be like fun. Like, you came over, come stay, right? And we went and tried out a new spa. Usually, I don't like to do, like, I want to go like check them out first before I take my friends there. But like, we had a hour car ride. We stopped. Sorry, I should back that up. So we go to like the bakery and get like a fresh brioche cappuccino, right? Drive the hour, right? And in the car, rocking out to the 90s jams, right? Like 90s baby hair we had Backstreet Boys and Spice Girls. And oh my gosh, there were some were like, what is this? Like, so like, it's just like that, right? And then you go to the spa and you relax. And it was interesting because usually when I do like the girlfriend spa dates, you try and book like the massages all at the same time. But it didn't work out for us that day. So actually, we both got like alone time to go lay by the pool, go like have versus. And at first, I was a little bummed about that because then that's like more time for us to talk and hang out. But also, it was good and like uncomfortable to be, by myself, or I had a book, or I was sitting there journaling or whatever, right? Like, so spa day, and then coming back after that, and then we had incredible food. I had octopus for lunch at the spa, like. It was amazing. I don't know if like you saw the video, like had octopus, and then she had, oh my gosh, like fish, and we had this beautiful Greek salad. It was incredible. And then coming back from that, probably should have stayed the night. Like, I think like, you get so relaxed. You're like, I shouldn't like, now I have to drive. I have to drive on the autostrada with Italians, and that can be that can be a little stressful. We actually had a close call. It was like, we ended up going through hail, right? Like, so here we got all jelly, and then we like went and did that. And then coming back, and I think just having good food, right? At the end of the day, I call it our secret place we go to. And just like an incredible meal, right? And to me, like, I think that's just like perfect day where you are slowing down. You don't have to worry about all the things that have to be done, and you're out of your environment, right? So for me, going somewhere new, like, always feels a little like we go to new place all the time, right? I still be like, okay, is this going to be a good, and I do my due diligence and research and check the reviews, and usually those are pretty spot on, right? But I think like that, and it's time with people that fill your cup, because if you're with energy suckers is a great word, right? You're with people who aren't fueling your dreams, they aren't filling your cup. You leave deflated, like that's, and then you're like, you have to build yourself back up because, so I think that would be my perfect day, is like a day with somebody that like I love and care about, and we get to relax, and like we both are like pampered, and then we like have just good food. Like, it's like those simple things, right? Where you're like, wow, like this is, you get a break from just kind of responsibilities, little people or like, it's just kind of like, okay, I don't have to worry about anything right now. Like, I'm good. I think that's a perfect, what a fun question. Like, what
a fun question. And I love your perfect day. And also I just couldn't help but think about like, that's exactly what you're creating for other women. It is. Like, you're building a business that allows you to do your perfect day on repeat. Tell me that's not the most brilliant. Like, why wouldn't you? Everybody's business should be like that. Like, that's yes, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. Yes. All right, my friend. Now it's your turn. You must leave a question for the next guest. And sometimes I know who they are, and sometimes I do not know who they are. However,
okay.
Curious.
I guess it's staying in my lane would be if they could travel anywhere in the world. So assuming outside the US, like, what would be their top 3 travel places they're thinking, and why?
Ooh.
Like, what is it that's it's always interesting to hear and observe how people perk up to different places, right? So I'll talk about Bali, and people are like, oh, Bali, right? Or, oh, Scotland, right? You're like, yes, Scotland. Right. It's interesting to see how, and then I do believe, right, when you kind of go back to like different people's lineage, like where they're from, they naturally have connections with places too, right? But then we have the movies, Right, Wrong, or Indifferent, that have built us up to like some of these places, right? Bali has always been on my mind, and I didn't put these two together until recently, which is so funny. But like eat Eat, Love, Pray, right? She goes, I was like, I was like, is that where that seed got planted? Right. Like, I don't know where the Bali seed got planted. I've done Thailand. I love Thailand. Chiang Mai, like we will do a family trip one day back there. But I guess that'd be my question for the next person is like, and then I guess the follow-up is like, okay, so when are you going to book that? Or when are you going to make that happen for yourself? Right. For the accountability of, yeah. Cause I think as Yous and I've been doing the mindset work, the vision work, right? And training our brain every day. When our brain hears us say, we're going to get up in the morning and work out, and we don't do it, or our brain hears us say, we're going to fold the clothes, they don't happen. Our brain learns to like essentially not trust us and not like, oh, like we're not going to follow through. And it really, it's like a domino effect, right? But you're like, oh, like I want, okay, Bali, like that one can be a long flight. So probably you need this much time off work, right? Like, okay, maybe a next year thing, right? But like starting to like make that, that dream a reality, right? So I guess that would be in the vein of travel and courage building and all the things. Yes.
It's so good. I love it. Okay. Well, then like answer your own question. You have to answer and I'll answer. You go first.
So you heard Bali. I'm making that happen. Like that is happening in a month, which is crazy. I am so excited. And I am taking my own advice. I am going on another women's trip to like hold my cup because like
idea. Yeah.
As I'm over here, I'm walking the walk, right? Like, because I believe like that's how important that is, right? And the fun thing is, I'm really excited. A lot of these women are from Australia. And I'm like, this is going to be a riot.
It's so fun.
I'm excited. So I think Bali, we just went to Scotland 2 months ago. And I am like, I'm Scottish, Irish, German, Norway. Like I'm like, you know, that side, but I just have such a strong desire to go back. And I do get to go back in September for this other clients I told you. So that's in there. But then I was like, I think I'm going to host a trip there. The wild card, the one I've still not made it to, and it's really out of left field, is Estonia. So Estonia is like up by Denmark, Sweden. And it's really interesting. I did a somatic yoga course from a lady, and she's from Estonia. And my husband got to go there on a work trip. And I was like, what? Like that's anyhow, it's like a cute little country, but it's not like well known, not, you know, and so for me, like that's always been there. Oh, and Iceland's on the list. Like really want to go. I mean, from being from Alaska, I feel like Iceland is a must. And that'll be a next year thing, right? But yeah.
Oh, so good.
And your list?
And my list. Okay. So many places come to mind. So I have part of like the big vision that was placed on my heart when I jumped into entrepreneurship is like, Lord told me like, hey, your work is going to take you and your family places across the world. And so there's such a long list, but when you ask, it's like, okay, I'm gonna hold myself accountable. What are the very first ones that come to mind? Very first ones that come to mind. And it was Bora Bora. That is always just like, I mean, just the waters and the overlook. Like that is something my husband and I have. That's that was one of the potential honeymoon destinations. And we ended up choosing St. Lucia instead. But Bora Bora, so that's on the list. Japan. And I want to go to Japan because I feel like Japan would be so different than and that is of great interest to me just to be able to experience that. So Japan is on the list. And then I'm such an animal girl. I can't help myself. So an African safari, that's happening soon for me. It must. Like I just to see the animals, and I need to do that. So those are on my list. And when are we going? When are we going?
Well,
okay. Yeah.
The Africa one, I've got you covered. That's next September.
You sure do. Well, you know what? Conveniently.
That's covered.
That might work. See, you speak this stuff into existence, right? You speak it into existence. Yeah, I That's a great question. I don't. Oh, dang it. Oh, I'm not. No, I'm not going to accept. I don't know from me. I'm not going to accept that. Okay, because we are not going to accept that from the next guest either. I don't know is not a good answer. Like, when are we doing it? When are you doing it?
When's your
Um,
anniversary with your husband?
oh, great idea and question. Okay, it's in October. Next October for us will be 20 years. That's a long time. And I
You
think
could
that requires
do
a Bora
this.
Bora celebration.
Yeah, I was like, or this year, right? That'd be a special, like, early celebration,
Huh?
and
Ooh,
maybe
yeah,
an entrepreneur business celebration, right? Because we don't celebrate ourselves enough for our.
that's true. That is true. I like that. And maybe maybe then we move that one up. Oh man. Have you been to Japan? Can you help me with that one?
I have not been to Japan, but
Okay.
I've had a lot of actually friends live there that have like ended up in
Oh,
Italy because we have military bases over there, and everybody has like loved. Well, actually, I have a friend living there right now. She's loving it. Like, it's just such a different culture, the people.
yeah.
And then the question for you is like, do you do a spring fall trip or do you go there like in the winter? Right? Like, it's just very different. We had friends go this last year who went skiing because the snow has been so bad in the States.
Ooh.
They flew to Japan and skied, right? Which sounds so wild, but even over here, it's so affordable to go skiing and stuff or see concerts, right? Like, if you can figure out strategies with airline tickets and things, once you get over here, unless it's like Switzerland,
Yeah,
right, things are more cost effective, right, to take your family skiing for the whole week and do things. It's affordable. It's
I like
affordable to do
that.
things over here versus in the States. I feel like you're taking it's a house payment,
Yeah,
uh,
yes,
right?
it
It's
can be.
wild.
Yeah, it can be. Okay, I like that. I like the specificity. We're gonna do. We would like, yeah, we would lose our minds to go snowboarding in Japan. So now we've narrowed that down. Okay, all
That's
right.
Christmas present for the kids.
I'm gonna keep. Oh, gonna keep.
We've
Okay.
changed that in our house this year as we like maybe we get them a couple things, but if we get them things, they correlate to the trips. So that's like the Christmas presents we gave the kids
Mm.
this year. Like we're doing Lego World in Denmark, right? Like that's a trip. Like so, and then they got, and then we're doing Belgium because you can sleep in the zoo with the animals. So then we got books on, and you can choose which animal you want to sleep with, right? Like
Oh
you
my
got
goodness.
books, like for
See
them
the
to
world.
everything is like so, but there's experiences, right? Because now that they're getting older, it's kind of like, hey, like we have enough toys, we have enough things, right? You go outside, but like these experiences, and then I think also for them to appreciate like the excuse me, the financial investment this takes, but then also, as you know, it's navigating time off for vacation, it's navigating right those things, and so for them to appreciate like what's going on. So
What's going on.
yes.
Yep. I like that. And I also too, I know it wasn't like it's not on my top 3 list, but I do know there is something, and we've talked about this one. I mean, Italy is in my future,
It
probably in
is.
my very near future.
It is.
Somehow, some way, there's that. So
You
let's
will be
see,
here in
where are we
September.
going?
Yes. Yes.
All right. Mickela, thank you so much. This has been amazing. I just really I loved I could feel your heart in the way that you talk about travel for women, and I just think that that's absolutely beautiful. And so all contact information will be in the show notes. Thank you so very, very much for
Thank
being here with
you.
me today. You're so welcome. All right, guys. Until next time. Bye.
Bye.
Hey, thanks for listening to today's episode. It means the world to me that you're here to ride in the struggle bus with me and that you're willing to consider different perspectives, tools, and techniques that just might provide a little bit of relief and get you one step closer to the abundance that is available and waiting for us all. I hope you take a moment to grant yourself some grace where you've been denying it, some love where you didn't realize maybe it was right in front of you, and some faith where you thought all was lost. If this episode had an impact on you, would you please share a comment with a review? I'd love to hear what landed for you, and it helps us get the word out to our fellow struggle bus riders. So please review what was impactful for you. Just know these episodes are a pure labor of love in a space where I'm growing alongside you. I'm evolving every day, and I look forward to all the ways and the things and the perspectives and opinions and choices that will change over the course of time in my own life, day to day. Until next time, just know that you are loved, You are divinely cared for. And in the struggle, the journey of this life really is beautiful. I'm glad that we're in it together. Cheers.